The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. William James. Have you ever found yourself overwhelmed by your emotions, unsure of how to navigate the storm within? You're not alone. In the wake of the pandemic, many of us have experienced heightened feelings of uncertainty, envy, anger, and even despair. These big feelings can be paralyzing, making it difficult to move forward. But what if you could learn to acknowledge these emotions and harness their power? In this exploration of big feelings by Molly West Duffy and Liz Foslian, we will uncover strategies to understand and manage our most intense emotions. Why do you feel more stress the less you know? One of the paradoxes of modern life is that sometimes, the less information we have, the more stressed we become. Uncertainty can breed anxiety, leading us to feel out of control. Duffy and Foslian explain how our brains are wired to crave certainty and predictability. When we don't have enough information, our minds often fill in the gaps with worst-case scenarios. This tendency can escalate stress and anxiety, making it harder to manage daily challenges. By understanding this dynamic, we can start to find ways to cope with uncertainty more effectively. How can envy be transformed into a positive force? Envy is often seen as a negative emotion, but Duffy and Foslian propose that it can actually be a source of inspiration. Instead of viewing envy as a sign of personal failure, we can reframe it as a clue to what we truly desire. By examining the things and people we envy, we can uncover our own aspirations and motivations. This shift in perspective allows us to use envy as a catalyst for growth and self-improvement, turning a potentially destructive feeling into a powerful tool for personal development. What do you do with your righteous anger? Anger, particularly when it feels justified, can be an overwhelming emotion. It can spur us into action but can also lead to destructive behaviors if not managed properly. Duffy and Foslian discuss how to channel righteous anger into constructive outcomes. By recognizing the underlying causes of our anger and addressing them directly, we can use this emotion to advocate for change and stand up for our values. Understanding and controlling our anger allows us to transform it from a negative force into a driver of positive action. Why is acknowledging burnout crucial for recovery? Burnout has become a common experience, especially in the fast-paced, high-pressure environment many of us navigate daily. Recognizing burnout is the first step toward recovery. Duffy and Foslian emphasize the importance of acknowledging feelings of exhaustion and depletion rather than ignoring them. By accepting that burnout is real and addressing it with self-compassion and practical strategies, such as setting boundaries and seeking support, we can begin to heal and regain our energy and motivation. How can embracing vulnerability lead to stronger connections? In a world that often values strength and resilience, showing vulnerability can feel like a weakness. However, Duffy and Foslian argue that embracing vulnerability is key to forming deeper, more authentic connections with others. When we allow ourselves to be open and honest about our struggles and emotions, we invite others to do the same. This mutual vulnerability can strengthen relationships, build trust, and create a supportive community. By being vulnerable, we not only help ourselves but also contribute to the well-being of those around us. Understanding and managing our big feelings is not about solving all our problems overnight. It's about taking the first steps toward emotional resilience and personal growth. As we navigate the complexities of our emotions, we can learn to harness their power and turn them into tools for positive change. Uncertainty. One day, Liz Foslian, co-author of Big Feelings, experienced a debilitating headache so severe that it landed her in the hospital. After ruling out a tumor and an aneurysm, doctors remained uncertain about the cause. Liz underwent various treatments including Botox, steroids, and anti-epileptic drugs, which caused severe side effects, including a panic attack and another hospital visit. However, the most distressing aspect was the uncertainty itself. Uncertainty is a heavy burden that can overshadow even the most resilient spirits. Scientific studies support this aversion to uncertainty. For instance, people experience more stress when facing a 50% chance of receiving an electric shock compared to a 90% chance. The reason? The dread of not knowing what to expect is far worse than the anticipation of an almost certain outcome. This heightened anxiety in the face of uncertainty can paralyze us, making it difficult to make decisions or take action. When confronted with uncertainty, the first rule is not to avoid the problem. Instead, sit with it. Avoiding uncertainty by distracting oneself with other tasks only provides temporary relief. Face the uncertainty head-on by letting it in and processing it. A practical exercise is to count to 90, as panic often diminishes within that time frame. Allowing yourself to fully feel your anxiety can be the first step in overcoming it. Next, get specific about your anxieties. Identify what you are truly worried about and consider how each potential scenario might unfold. Importantly, avoid catastrophizing. Remember that the worst-case scenario is just one of many possibilities, and it is equally crucial to consider the best-case scenario. By breaking down your fears into specific concerns, you can address them more systematically and reduce their power over you. Acknowledging your specific worries helps in managing uncertainty in a healthier way. In doing so, you will recognize the elements within your control and those that are beyond it. The wisdom to distinguish between the two is vital. Focus on what you can control and accept what you cannot. This approach not only reduces stress but also empowers you to take constructive steps towards resolving your issues. As for Liz, she learned to live with her migraines, taking steps to manage the pain without causing additional harm. While her situation remains imperfect, she has embraced acceptance over uncertainty. Her journey is a testament to the human capacity to adapt and find peace even amidst unresolved challenges. By accepting uncertainty and focusing on what she can control, Liz has found a way to move forward despite her ongoing struggles. In the words of Reinhold Niebuhr, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. This famous quote encapsulates the essence of dealing with uncertainty. By embracing this mindset, we can navigate life's unpredictability with greater resilience and grace. Comparison. Molly, one of the authors, had a close friend, Vanessa, with whom she shared many life milestones. They both wrote books and got married, but their paths diverged when Vanessa became pregnant. Molly found it unbearable to stay in touch, consumed by the comparison and the feelings it stirred. In today's social media-driven world, comparisons are more prevalent than ever, and logging out or cutting off close relationships isn't the answer. Everyone struggles with comparisons. Whether it's envying a friend's high-paying job or feeling inadequate next to someone pursuing a dream you secretly cherish, these feelings are hard to channel constructively. The first step in managing these comparisons, much like dealing with uncertainty, is to acknowledge them. Ask yourself what exactly you are envious of, what the other person has that you don't, and how you would truly feel if you were in their shoes. Acknowledging your feelings might lead you to a surprising realization: you may not actually want the life you envy. For example, Liz, the co-author, felt envious of an acquaintance who landed a senior business role. However, upon reflection, she realized that she wouldn't enjoy the responsibilities and lifestyle that came with that position. The prestige appealed to her, but the day-to-day reality did not. On the other hand, your envy could reveal something significant about your true desires. This was the case for Gretchen Rubin, who was envious of a law school classmate who had become a writer. This realization prompted her to pursue her passion for writing, eventually leading her to become a best-selling author. Envy, when acknowledged and examined, can serve as a catalyst for positive change. However, it's important to remember that not all comparisons are fruitful. Social media often presents an idealized version of others' lives. Comparing your worst moments to someone else's highlight reel is unfair and detrimental. Additionally, it's essential to accept that people are at different stages in their lives. Embrace your unique journey rather than measuring it against others. Molly eventually reconnected with Vanessa, sharing her struggles and the difficulty she faced in seeing their lives take different directions. Vanessa understood, and despite their different life paths, they rekindled their friendship. This story highlights that open communication and acceptance can mend relationships strained by comparison. As author Theodore Roosevelt famously said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Embrace your path, acknowledge your feelings, and let envy guide you towards self-discovery rather than despair. Anger. Comparison isn't all bad when it comes to big feelings, and the same applies to anger. A story about Griffin, a friend of the author's, illustrates this. While on a business trip with his multinational company, Griffin experienced an incident where a senior team member sexually harassed him by feeling his chest and chanting "gay." Initially, Griffin felt ashamed and confused. He had been brought up to believe that anger was negative, so he suppressed it. It wasn't until he shared the incident with a friend, who labeled it as sexual harassment, that Griffin allowed himself to feel angry. Griffin's anger was justified, but instead of pursuing a lawsuit, he channeled his energy into securing a new job. Although not an ideal resolution, it shows how acknowledging anger can lead to constructive action. Sometimes, anger is a righteous response to genuine injustices. Suppressing it is unhealthy, as Soraya Shamali notes. Comparing it to water, you can dam it or divert it, but it will always find a way through. To deal with anger effectively, the first step is to acknowledge it. Keeping an anger log can be helpful. By documenting what triggers your anger over a week, patterns will emerge. This self-awareness is crucial. People generally respond to anger in different ways, some suppress it, some project it outward, and others try to control it by pretending everything is fine. None of these approaches are ideal. Instead, aim to be an anger transformer. Anger transformers recognize that anger, when channeled appropriately, can be productive and creative. They don't deny their feelings but use them strategically to propel themselves forward. This doesn't mean lashing out impulsively, rather, it involves finding a balance where anger becomes a tool for clarity and action. Meditation can be a valuable practice for transforming anger. It helps create a calm state of mind, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. The key is not to suppress anger but to use it in a way that benefits you and addresses the root cause of your frustration. Anger, when understood and managed properly, can lead to significant personal growth and change. It provides the clarity needed to confront injustices and make meaningful decisions. By transforming anger into a force for good, you can navigate through life's challenges more effectively and emerge stronger. As Aristotle wisely said, anybody can become angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and is not easy. Understanding and channeling your anger correctly can lead to powerful, positive outcomes in your life. Burnout. Molly used to work as a consultant for a global innovation firm while simultaneously writing her first book with Liz. The lifestyle was hectic and involved a lot of travel. The onset of her burnout is a moment she'll never forget. Flying home to Seattle for Christmas after having been in New York City, Montreal, Shanghai, and DC, she was seated in first class due to her accumulated miles. When someone next to her started coughing, a wave of anxiety washed over her. This was pre-pandemic, so it wasn't a COVID-related concern, she simply couldn't afford to get sick with so much work lined up. Predictably, she did get sick, a cold that worsened because she pushed herself to take another trip too soon. This led to her having to cancel numerous events related to their book launch. Molly's burnout made her severely ill, and she's still recovering from it today. However, she has taken steps to mitigate its effects. She and her husband moved from New York to the calmer environment of Los Angeles. She stopped being hard on herself for missing the gym or delaying email responses. Additionally, she began planning a career that allowed her to take better care of herself. Burnout is a signal from your body indicating that you can't continue on your current path and that something needs to change. Molly's experience isn't unique to those with jet-setting careers. Burnout can stem from long hours leading to exhaustion or from finding your job meaningless, regardless of how hard you work. What should you do about burnout? If your experience is similar to Molly's, start by getting comfortable with giving less than 100% of yourself. Operating at 80% capacity can provide the balance needed to have a life beyond work. Identifying what you do and don't value in your work is crucial. Determine which tasks feel meaningless or overwhelming and find ways to distance yourself from them. It's also important to recognize when the effort you're putting into a project isn't yielding a sense of achievement. This lack of fulfillment is a classic sign of burnout. In such cases, reconsider what you truly value in your career. By reassessing your priorities and making adjustments, you can begin to address the root causes of your burnout and work towards a healthier, more sustainable work-life balance. Perfectionism. Liz's favorite pair of pajamas was a long pair of men's pants with a hole in them. Her favorite evening snack was a bowl of popcorn soaked in soy sauce. Sometimes, Liz liked to get up in the middle of the night and pace around frantically, just to tire herself out. Oh, and her apartment was a mess. All that was fine, it was just who she was. But when she got food poisoning, her boyfriend sweetly offered to come around and make some soup for her. Then she panicked. She couldn't bear to let him see the state of her apartment. She panicked so much that she threw up. We all have flaws. The problem is that an alarming number of us are perfectionists, constantly insisting on higher standards for ourselves than we can actually manage. Perfectionism can manifest in various aspects of our lives. Some people, like Liz, are perfectionists in their social lives, feeling immense pressure to maintain a certain image. Others are perfectionists at work, striving to exceed expectations and often setting impossible standards for themselves. While the drive for excellence can be motivating, it can also be paralyzing. Contrary to popular belief, perfectionism is not always a virtue. It can hinder productivity, creativity, and overall well-being. Many perfectionists become so consumed by the fear of failure that they avoid taking action altogether. This can lead to missed opportunities and a persistent sense of dissatisfaction. Liz's experience is a testament to this. Her perfectionism caused unnecessary anxiety and stress, culminating in a physical reaction. So, how do you let go of something like perfectionism? It's hard. But one of the keys is to get comfortable with what you think of as failure. It's important to shift the perspective on failure from a negative outcome to a valuable learning experience. This shift in mindset allows us to embrace imperfections and understand that mistakes are part of the growth process. By acknowledging that failure is not the opposite of success but a crucial component of it, we can begin to dismantle the unrealistic standards we set for ourselves. It's common to think of failure and success as opposites. Picture two little piles of stackable bricks, one colored yellow, one blue. The truth is, the wall that each of us is building is made up of bricks of both colors and in no particular pattern. Because, of course, you learn from failures, and they help you along. The key is to recognize the value in both experiences and understand that they collectively contribute to our development and achievements. Here's another tip. Ask yourself what your friends love about you. I'd bet good money that your ability to maintain a pristine email inbox does not figure highly on their list. Other people don't hold you to the same standards that you hold yourself. They appreciate you for your unique qualities, your kindness, your sense of humor, and the moments you share together. By focusing on the qualities that truly matter, you can begin to let go of the pressure to be perfect in every aspect of your life. And here's one more. Give your internal perfectionist voice a name. Call it Grace, or Bozo, or Voldemort. And when you hear that voice, remember that it's them talking, not you. By personifying your perfectionist tendencies, you create a psychological distance between yourself and those thoughts. This allows you to challenge and reframe the critical inner dialogue that perpetuates perfectionism. Oh, Liz and her soy sauce popcorn. The boyfriend who came around when she was sick and saw her messy apartment? It was fine. They moved in together not long after that. And now, he's her husband. This story illustrates that our fears of being judged for our imperfections are often unfounded. The people who care about us accept and love us for who we are, imperfections and all. By embracing our authentic selves, we can build deeper, more meaningful connections with others and cultivate a sense of inner peace. Despair. Let's dive into a chapter that touches on a sensitive topic, despair, a feeling that can be overwhelming and isolating. Molly, at 32, had just achieved a significant milestone with the publication of her first book. She was happily married and had no history of depression. However, her life took a sudden turn when chronic pain in her feet became debilitating. Despite medical efforts, the pain persisted, making even simple tasks excruciating. To add to her distress, she was struggling with infertility, exacerbated by the stress she was under. One particularly difficult day during a work trip, Molly found herself contemplating ending her life. She wrote a farewell note to her family and made plans to carry out her intentions in her hotel room. The weight of despair was crushing, yet when faced with the moment to make the irreversible decision, she couldn't bring herself to do it. Despair, as Molly's experience illustrates, can manifest in various forms and intensities. It's a feeling of hopelessness and profound sadness that can overwhelm anyone, regardless of their external circumstances. In recent years, the prevalence of despair, particularly in the United States, has been alarming. So, what can be done about despair? The journey through despair is not about finding a quick fix but rather about navigating it gradually. One crucial step is accepting that recovery is a gradual process, often taking moments rather than days or weeks. When every minute feels like an eternity, breaking time into smaller, manageable moments can make it more bearable. During these moments, self-indulgence can be a form of self-care. Whether it's taking a hot shower, watching a light-hearted movie, or enjoying a comforting treat, these small pleasures can provide solace and distraction during difficult times. It's important to recognize and celebrate even the smallest achievements, such as completing simple tasks, as they signify progress and resilience. Another vital strategy is seeking support from empathetic individuals who understand and validate your feelings. Surrounding yourself with supportive friends and loved ones who offer empathy rather than sympathy can provide the understanding and comfort needed to cope with despair. Conversely, it's okay to politely distance yourself from those who don't understand or offer unhelpful advice during this sensitive time. Molly eventually found her way through despair, supported by changes like a new job, engaging in activities like a book club, and the unwavering support of her husband. Looking back, she acknowledges the strength and resilience she discovered within herself during that challenging period. Her story serves as a reminder that, even in the depths of despair, there is hope and the possibility of finding a path forward. Navigating despair is a deeply personal journey, and each person's experience is unique. By embracing self-compassion, seeking empathetic support, and celebrating small victories, it's possible to navigate through despair and emerge stronger on the other side. Remember, just as Molly found her strength, so too can anyone facing despair find their way to a brighter tomorrow. Regret. Regret is a powerful emotion that often lingers, haunting us with thoughts of what could have been. Liz's story of declining to help clean out her grandmother's house in Germany is a poignant example. Despite her busy schedule and career ambitions, she turned down the opportunity to preserve cherished memories, only to later feel a deep-seated regret. Regret is universal and serves an evolutionary purpose, teaching us to learn from our mistakes and make better decisions in the future. However, it doesn't always stem from poor choices. It can arise from circumstances beyond our control or from simply imagining different outcomes. There are various types of regret, each requiring its own approach for resolution. Hindsight regrets involve looking back and wishing we had known better at the time. Alternate self-regrets involve imagining a different life had we made different choices. To tackle these, it's essential to avoid idealizing alternate scenarios and recognize that our current circumstances are shaped by our past decisions. Rushing in and dragging out regrets stem from acting too quickly or too slowly, respectively, leading to missed opportunities or costly mistakes. These regrets offer valuable lessons for improving future decision-making skills by analyzing motivations and thought processes. Ignoring your instincts. Regrets occur when we disregard our gut feelings, only to regret it later. These situations highlight the importance of trusting our instincts and being attuned to our inner voice. Similarly, self-sabotage regrets often emerge from behaviors linked to deeper issues like addiction, requiring introspection and possibly professional support to address underlying causes. While we can't entirely eliminate regret from our lives, we can change our perspective. Instead of dwelling on should-haves, we can shift our focus to what-ifs about the future, embracing possibilities and opportunities yet to come. For Liz, the regret of not being there for her grandmother's house clearance weighed heavily. When faced with a similar situation involving her father's health crisis, she didn't hesitate. Despite prior regrets, she learned from her past experiences and took immediate action, boarding a flight to support her family in their time of need. Regret teaches us about ourselves and our values. It encourages reflection and growth, helping us navigate future choices with greater wisdom and clarity. By understanding the different facets of regret and learning from them, we can transform its burden into a catalyst for personal development and resilience. Final summary. The journey through big feelings is often tumultuous yet transformative. From the challenges of comparison to the depths of despair, each emotion offers profound lessons that shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Comparison, fueled by societal pressures and social media, can lead to self-doubt and dissatisfaction. However, by recognizing our unique paths and celebrating our individuality, we can shift focus from comparison to self-compassion and personal growth. Despair, a profound sense of hopelessness, reminds us of our vulnerability and the importance of seeking support. Whether through therapy or community networks, reaching out is a courageous step toward healing and resilience. Perfectionism, while often praised, can become a barrier to progress and personal fulfillment. Learning to embrace imperfections and value the journey over the destination allows us to pursue excellence without succumbing to unrealistic expectations. Anger, burnout, and regret are also significant emotions that shape our lives. By harnessing anger constructively, establishing boundaries to prevent burnout, and transforming regret into valuable lessons, we navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and self-awareness. In conclusion, navigating big feelings requires courage, self-reflection, and a willingness to embrace vulnerability. Each emotion offers an opportunity for growth and understanding, leading us toward greater personal fulfillment and connection. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of big feelings and their profound impact on our lives. As we continue to learn from our experiences and grow, remember that every emotion, whether joyous or challenging, contributes to our journey of self-discovery. In the words of Maya Angelou, we may encounter many defeats but we must not be defeated. Embrace the lessons learned from each emotion, knowing that they shape us into resilient, compassionate individuals. If you found resonance in this summary, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences with big feelings. Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below, and consider how these reflections can inform your journey toward personal growth and fulfillment. This summary aims to capture the essence of navigating complex emotions, offering insights that resonate across generations. By engaging with this content, you contribute to a collective effort to foster wisdom, empathy, and resilience in our communities. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Until next time, stay curious, seek wisdom, and continue to embrace the richness of your emotional landscape.